welcome to another battle report from WHF. This time it's again this yearly battle we have with 4 friends of us together, and this time it's my new Beastmen army and allied with some Dark Elves versus 2 times Orcs and Goblins. So it's 2,500 points per player, so it's a total of 5,000 points per side. And here we see deployment. It's well, what it looks like here. I'll go into detail in the next few pictures. Yes, this is Orcs and Goblins left flank, and as you saw before, it's a very symmetrical deployment they have. So from left to right, it's a Rocklobber, 2 Doom Divers, and 4 of the Spear Chuggers. Then it's a Manglisquig, and behind that chariot there is 20 Night Goblins facing to the side, and they are protecting from my outflanking Beastmen units, ambushing Beastmen units. That's why they're facing that way. And then it is a Goblin Wolf Chariot and 2 units of fully upgraded Wolf Riders, so that's short bows, spears, and shields. And then behind them is the big horde of Savage Orcs with a BSB and a level 4 in there. So it's a classic Orc and Goblin build for a Death Star. And their other Death Star is the Black Orc horde you see in the middle front, and that contains Grimgore, Ironhide. And then there's the Ragnarok with the Shrine. And if you don't know it, that upgrade for it makes every wizard within 12 inches of it channel on a 4+. And the wizard on top of it, because it has to have a wizard character on it, I think, he channels on a 3+. So they have tried to make a dice power and dispel dice factory. And that's a pretty solid tactic, especially with that many points. And you can see between the Savage Horde and the Ragnarok there's a level 1 Shaman for some more generation. And on the other side of the board it's pretty much the same. There's another Manglisquig there, and there's one more level 1, I think he's somewhere there, just by himself as well. Then there's another Savage Orc horde, and it's a slightly different one. It only has a level 1 Savage Orc Shaman in it, and then it has the BSB and the Savage Orc Warboss, the Savage Orc character lord, fighting lord, with the 2 of armor save and stubborn. So he's pretty interesting. Makes that unit even tougher to break. Then in front of that are 2 more units of Wolf Riders, and it's the same kit, bows, shields, and spears. Then another Wolf Chariot, 20 more Night Goblins facing to the side again to look out for any ambushes. And then a Manglisquig in front of that artillery, not hill, but area. And then we have the same as the other side, Doom Divers, 1 Rocklobber, and 4 Spear Chuggers. And oh yeah, and there's a level 4 Goblin on top of the Ragnarok, obviously. So they have a total of, I think it's 4 wizards that can channel. Maybe it's even 5. And the kit for the BSBs are fairly standard, maybe for a board or stuff like that. Fairly defensive. And then this is our left. So this is looking to be the right. It's just a front picture, so that's why it's reversed. And you see from right to left, there's a unit of Dark Riders and Dark Shites behind them, 10 of them with a flaming banner. Then a Razor Core, and behind that I wanted to try out a small Minotaur. Not really, but it's 8 Minotaurs and a Doom Bull. And the Doom Bull is kitted out differently because I was afraid of trolls and black orcs. So I thought that the only thing that the Orcs and Goblins have that are good for a Doom Bull with the Ramhorn Helm and the rerolling armor save, so he get many more attacks for each past armor save, that's the Savage Orc horde. And I thought, well, if there are Black Orcs, Trolls, and Savage Orcs, then there's a pretty good chance I'm not gonna be matched up against the only thing he can handle. So I equipped him differently. So he still has the Sword of Swaying, and then he has a 4 ward instead. And then some more for the armor save. So he's made to be able to handle a bit more, but not being as good at it. And then there's just 8 more Minotaurs. Then I have 40 Gores, and with no upgrades. They have a command group but no characters in there. I wanted them to be expendable, so if I could boost them with some shadow magic, then they'd rock the world no matter what. And if not, and the magic failed in the combat round, then I wouldn't lose that much if the unit was broken and fled. So that was the thinking. Then in front of them I have 5 OnG Raiders, and there are 5 more to this next to them, and behind them the other 5 is my character bunker. There's some like 14 Gores, I think, and they have 2 level 4s and 1 BSB in there. And the one level 3, 1 level 4, and the BSB. And the BSB has the standard discipline, and then a 4-up armor and a shield for the parry. My thinking here is that the level 3 is Lord of the Beasts, and he's supposed to be my caster, my strong caster here. And the other one is Lord of the Wild, because I wanted a Gorgon, and I have one and I painted it up for this game, and well, in general, but I wanted him in this game as well. So I thought a lot about it. Summoning it means it can be shot at from the start. It means that it can come in maybe at it can come in wherever I need it. And it's a pretty good idea, but I didn't want it on a level 2 because I wanted it to be reliable. Because if you summon it with this lore, then every time it takes a wound, then the wizard who summoned it, he has to take a toughness test, and if he fails, he takes a wound, no saves of any kind. And the level 2 only has toughness 4 and 2 wounds, so the first 2 wounds might just kill him if you're a little unlucky. So a level 4, he has more than 90% chance of getting the spell, and he has toughness 5 and 3 wounds. So he's there to be my Gorgon. He's also slightly cheaper in himself. So it's a small risk and a cheaper Gorgon that can not be shot at from the start. That was my thinking. And then he has some other stuff that I wanted anyway that makes him more expensive, but yeah, I would have needed that anyway. And then to the side of that unit is another bunker with 10 Gores and a level 2 Shaman of Lore of Beasts, just to get some more spells from that lore. And in front of that is a Hearthstone for some power dice generation, and finally we have my last unit of 5 OnG Raiders. And this is the other side where my co-player mostly deployed. And there's a Reaper Bow Thrower, and then there is a Sister Star, I think it would be. That is 30 Sisters of Slaughter, and then a Cauldron of Blood with a Chrome Hellbrawn on it. Well, that's just an insane unit. There's also a level 2 of dark magic in there. That's just crazy. Whoa. And you'll see later. But if you don't know them, this is a Dark Oath Rare unit, 15 points a piece model. They have toughness 3, of course, and they have a hand weapon and a shield. And their rules, and they have 2 attacks on the profile. And then they have the Super Frenzy from Hellbrawn and Cauldron. So they have 4 attacks apiece, actually, right now. And then they have a 4-up parry save. No, 4-up ward save. It's not even a parry. 4-up ward save in close combat because they are so good at fighting. They're gladiator-style fighters. Something like that in the fluff. So that is not Witch Elves, even though the models are Witch Elves. That is the Sisters of Slaughter. They're insane. Anyway, behind them is a bunker of, I think it's 20 Dread Spears with a level 4 of Shadow for the Dark Elves. And next to them is 10 more Dark Shards, and behind that is a Razor Core. Then there's a War Hydra and 2 Reaper Bow Throwers. One of them is borrowed from my old High Elf collection. yeah, just got to paint it black to match the theme before the battle. And then 5 Dark Riders, and they're behind there because they don't want to get shot to pieces by 4 ball throwers and 2 Doom Divers. So that's the armies. And here's a picture from behind, and this is what you're gonna see the rest of the battle. There we go. And I just wanted to show you a few pictures of the big models in this game. This Ragnarok is just super cool. I know it's a very poor quality of pictures throughout the battle, and it's all my phone can handle. I'm sorry about that, but it's very dark red in the joints and the legs, and everything is so well painted. I'm really sorry I can't show you. But there's the Ragnarok and the Manglesquigs. Sorry. And here is Hellbron on the cauldron. Just beautifully painted. So cool. Yeah, so that's that. And then I have one unit of 10 Gores with shields that are out ambushing. And I learned my lesson. They should not have had shields. That should have been additional hand weapons. But oh well. And this is what it looks like after Vanguard moves. On the right flank, left flank. I refer to this as the left flank now. The Wolf Riders move up basically to block the Manglesquig from being stepped on by the Dark Riders. And in the middle they move up as well. And to the right, this is what it looks like. And the Dark Riders in the corner there, they just move back to be even less shot at, because you know, we're thinking it's better to save them for later instead of just wasting them now, because they have some potential for redirecting against those 3 horrifying hordes up there. So we're playing it a little patient here. And we go to Orcs and Goblins turn 1 because they rolled the win off. They got the +1. They win the roll off. And this is what it looks like over here. So the Mangler moved to the right, and everything else pretty much stayed put. The Wolf Chariot moved over a little. You can see the Servitor Court shuffled a little to the left from this point of view, and that's it. And over here, a Manglesquig took the chance with some dangerous terrain, and the other one moved behind the Goblins there, Wolf Riders, and back there you see the Chariot also slightly changed its position. So, an overview of the table, and we go into some shooting and magic. And overall in this turn we lose a Dark Rider, 2 of these guys from the Stone Thrower that missed, and that was it. And that was because I used the Chalice of the Dark Rain. That's one of the items I really wanted that my level 4 carried, and it does so that you use it in the start of a shooting phase, opponent shooting phase. You declare you use it, and then everything is on their side is -1 ballistic skill to shoot, and if it doesn't use ballistic skill, then it rolls a die. On a 4-up it gets to shoot, and 1 to 3 it doesn't. So in this game it was points really well invested. So that and some bad luck from our opponent's side kept the casualties extremely low. So that was very nice. And Orcs and Goblins turn 2. Yeah, I forgot to take pictures of our turn 1. But it was mostly just moving up some Minotaurs and reforming my Gore Horde, and then was also moving up some chaff, the OnG Raiders and Dark Riders on one flank, to get into position to redirect or shoot or flee or whatever they would be needed to do. But you'll see here in a minute. So Orc and Goblins turn 2. This is what it looks like over here. The star moved up, and now it's being harassed by this Manglesquig. And yeah, they're standing there. Missed them by, you know, an inch. I was so lucky. You see that Manglesquig in the middle, in front of the sisters, was one in the rubble on the hill there, the stones, the rock. So we were very lucky, and on the other side we were also lucky because the other Manglesquig also missed the Hydra. Again, it rolled very poorly, so bad luck on our opponent's side. And oh yeah, those ruins there are arcane ruins, so you can use 4 dice to channel if you want to, but you don't want to roll 3 or more 6s because that's a miscast. And this is what it looks like over here after their movement in turn 2, and you can see the two. Yeah, let's just start from left to right again. You see the dark shards there are reduced. No, the Dark Riders moved up there, were moved through by the Mangled Squig, and it didn't kill them all. 2d6 strength, 6 armor piercing hits, and 1 lived out of 4. Very lucky. And then it stopped right behind him in front of my Minotaurs. 1 inch behind the shots there. Then the 2 Wolf Riders there charged my 5 Encores, and I think there was 2 got killed on the way in out of 5 shots, so that was very unlucky for him. And this is this side of the board. So now you have our movement in turn 1 and theirs in turn 2. And here you see the remaining of the moves, and they move up the 2 big Savage Orc units to form one frighteningly horrible greenskin line. Yeah, so that's it. And in our turn 2, our turn 1, my ambushers came in as well from this side of the table. No, anywhere, but I had no room to deploy them in their deployment zone, so they got in here, and now they're being blocked up by these Wolf Riders here. So, oh well, I think I can handle it. And over here. And here, my 3 Encores still in their turn 2 is shut down by some magic that we no, it was a miscast, but it didn't do anything to them. So irresistible force, so it was just forced through. And over here, oh, this is so great. Throughout the game they were so unlucky with their artillery. So this Doom Diver here misfires, and it's destroyed, the red one. And that caused a lot of panic tests, and much of this is away from the bubble. So you see there's the Rocklopper, and one of the Spear Chuggers is facing backwards, so they can shoot the next turn. We did allow them to shoot this turn because in the rules it said that it was first next turn they couldn't shoot. So I guess it makes sense because they all actually fire simultaneously. So they panicked and can't shoot next turn, and that Doom Diver is dead. So again, got off fairly lightly, and the same thing happened over here, only with the Rocklopper. So again, 1 Doom Diver and 1 Stone Throw. 1 Doom Diver and 1 Spear Chugger can shoot next turn, and 1 Stone Thrower is down. So bad luck. So much bad luck for them. Over here I take some casualties with the Stone Thrower that scattered a little, killed 3 Gores, and 2 of these dies to shooting as well from the bow throwers. No, goblins. Both, I think. And in close combat, yeah, so 2 of my Encores were killed, 1 of his goblins were killed, and I was within range of BSB in general, so I stuck. That was really kind of unexpected. I don't know, I have really low expectations to Encores. And over here, in our turn, I think I missed that. Oh well. Anyway, this is our turn now, obviously. So my Race Gore and my Gores charge into the Goblin Wolf Riders, so they should die without any problem, even, I think. And yeah, here it comes. Our turn too. There we go. So, also over on this side, my other Razor Gore charges into the remaining Goblin Wolf Rider that is chaffing up the Sister Star as well. So now we only have the Mangled Squig to worry about. And after movement, my Minotaurs moved up here, and this is what it looks like on this side of the table. And over here, an overview. And you see, there's no more Mangled Squig there. And that's because the bow throwers shot down one of them, along with everything else actually that could shoot. The other one was killed by my magic. I got off wild tide on it, and that's 5d6 strength 1 hits. So that killed it off. It had taken 1 wound. So the witch, not the witches. The sisters are free to move again without losing way too many of their numbers. And overruns in our turn 2 here brings my Razor Gore here up there, being nicely in the way of their hordes if they should want to advance, despite their gun line capacity. And over here in this extremely blurry picture, you can see that I could not restrain anything from overrunning the from pursuing the wolf riders. I wanted my gores to restrain. And also, you see, I lost like 4 gores. It was just like crazy against those wolf riders, and I didn't even kill. I killed maybe 1 with them. So whoa. But anyway, my Razor Gore came and saved the day, and they both pursued, unfortunately, and the Razor Gore caught them, and now the gores are blocking up my Minotaurs, so that's great. And you can see here I'm trying to get my Minotaurs into the flank of those savages up there, unpainted ones, because Minotaurs cannot handle anything. They can deal out a lot of damage, and then they die horribly in return. Toughness 4, 3 wounds, 6 up armor save. That's it for 55 points. And they're super offensive, but it's just like, it's not enough, especially not against a horde that got a 5 up ward save. So I'm trying to get them to the flank and have my Ungors chaff up the Savage Orc Star there. So this is what it looks like after a run. And his chariot in their turn 3 here. The chariot, the wolf chariot, charges another unit of 5 Ungors. And well, that's not so nice. And here you see something, whoa, game changing. So this is the Savage Orc Horde with the Orc Warboss and a BSB and a level 1. And it has charged this Razor Gore because it has Frenzy. It also had leadership, was barely out of Grimgore's leadership 10 range. 10 because of the standard of discipline in the Black Orcs. Barely by a millimeter, something like that. So he failed a rerollable leadership 9, and he had to charge. And we were all just like, whoa, because right in front of that unit is the Sister Star with Hellbron. And this is exactly what me and my co-player wanted. He wanted to be able to have that Sister Star in against those hordes one at a time. So nice. Wow. Now they might overrun into the sisters, but still it's only +1 combat resolution. That's all that's gonna change from they charging instead of us. So not a problem at all. I think they have 6 inches to us running straight ahead. And when they see that happen, they hurriedly move up the rest of their line to try to keep the line together so they can support each other, which is very sound and makes a lot of sense. And this is just a shot of the board from my corner, so to speak. Just wanted to take it because it's so big a battle, so much is going on, and it looks awesome. And from the other side of the board, just wow. So cool. These big battles are always a blast. And here's some magic, Gift of the Spider God. So these got poison on them, and frankly we didn't care because they're already strength 5, and they're gonna murder it anyway, and it will help them in the combat against the sisters, but still they are already wounding on 2 up when they're strength 5 in the first round of combat. So we're like, it's not gonna change that much. Maybe he give 2 or 3 more wounds than they would have done. So, not a problem. And a Dark Shard bites it from some shooting. And my Minotaurs, they move up here. Oh yeah, that's 2 wounds from the This is their turn, so obviously I didn't move them. This is 2 wounds from the bow throwers, spear jaggers. And the impact hits and everything leaves one of my OnG standing, very surprisingly, against this wolf chariot. And now you're thinking, okay, it's gonna break. No, it's not, because it's again within like 2 millimeters of my BSB. Not my general, he's too far away in the unit, but my BSB can just reach him with the 12-inch bubble. And I did 1 wound to the chariot before when I had 3 OnG left before the goblins came in with their attacks. So he won by charge and 4 wounds, so that's 5, and against my 1 wound. So he won with 4. And no, my general was also in range. I'm sorry, because I rolled a 5, leadership 9, 4 minus. On the second roll, I got I think I rolled a 4 even. So that was amazing that those 5 OnGs are still there and held up the chariot. So there you see it, within range. And that's a wound on my my wizard, because we rolled a miscast early in the game, and all our wizards took a wound. No ward saves were made. Tough luck. There it is. Rolled a 5. Incredible. So nice. Over here, obviously the Razor Gore dies, and those 2 dice are marking where the arcane ruins are standing, because the Savage Orcs are in the middle of it. So, well, they're marking the corner, forwardmost corner towards our side of the table. And there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, their overrun didn't even got them into the Witch Elves. Now, I said it didn't matter that much who charged and who didn't. Well, we would still have liked this with them charging, but now we get to charge on our turn, where we can debuff them with magic. So we're gonna make it even more favorable against for us. So we go to our turn 3, and things are looking interesting. So in our turn 2, this is what happens. Movement and charges you see here. I moved my Minotaurs over the hill, and we had agreed that the sides of the hill, everything that was stony and went upwards, were dangerous terrain. And I also forgot to take the first dangerous terrains when I moved Minotaurs over there. So in total I took 15 dangerous terrain tests. And yeah, I backed up the 4 cores so I could just march straight ahead. And I failed 6 of them. So 2 Minotaurs just die. Sucks. But they did, and what can you do? Fortunately they're frenzied because they have a Doom Bull in there, so it's not a problem in itself, but I would have liked to have those 2 Minotaurs. Otherwise, you see the remaining 3 cores from the fight with the Wolf Riders, they killed it. They charged the Wolf Chariot there, and I did not want to charge my Razor Core into it, so I just moved it up and kept it away to... I wanted to move it over to chaff up the Black Orcs, so they couldn't charge, but I failed my march test. So, yeah, well... I couldn't have known, so I'm still glad I didn't charge it, because it would have been worth it, but yeah, it wasn't. And you see over here, surprise, 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 the Sisters of Slaughter, they have lost 2 men after this combat. They charged the Savage Orcs. We lost 2, they lost 6, I think it was, 3 characters and 40 guys. I don't know. There were very few casualties on both sides. And that's because of the ward save the Black Orcs had, and on our side it's because I know they have a 4-up ward in close combat, but that should still cost a lot more casualties. You see a spell card behind them there. That is Shadow Lore Enfeebling Foe, -2 to their strength. So on this first round of combat they were strength 3 instead of strength 5. Now that is also a bad thing for the Sisters of Slaughter, because one of their other rules I forgot to mention is that if an opponent has more strength or I think it's weapon skill. One of those two stats. One of two stats. If one of those or both are better than the sisters, then the sisters also get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. So they didn't have that now because the orcs were only strength 3. But what it also meant was that a lot more of them survived for later rounds of combat, because if that spell is dispelled or it stops, then the orcs will only be strength 4 and not strength 5 as they are in the first turn. So that's a lot of witch elves, sisters not dying right here. So they are there for later in the game. So I think it's still good, all in all, only losing 2. But despite the savage orcs losing horribly and not being steadfast, they were stubborn because of the the savage orc general there with the crown of command. So that was a very good item for him to have. And they stuck, no problem. Lost their frenzy, but that was it. Oh crap. So if you're seeing what we noticed right away is the black orc horde up there being within, like, needing a 6 or something to charge them in the flank with green core. That would be interesting. But anyway, that happened. And later in our turn 3, we got the Curse of Enra here from my level 3 off on the Savage Orcs up here, and believe it or not, but all my Ungors beat the Goblin Chariot without losing anyone, and they just killed it outright. So now I have 3 units of chaff in front of the Savage Orcs to keep them from reforming and getting out of facing the Minotaurs. So this is what it looks like over here. Curse of Enra here does so that you have -1 to hit in close combat, and even more importantly, whenever you move for any reason while you have the spell on you, you take a dangerous terrain test, even on open ground, and 1s and 2s cause wounds. So it's basically, if you move, you lose approximately a third of your unit. So we go to Orcs and Goblins turn 4 now. And finally, after spending 2 of our Dispel Scrolls, both of our Dispel Scrolls, they get a Foot of Gorg, and he scatters off, kills instead of hitting the Minotaurs in the face, he hits one of them and the 4 Gors, and they all die. Then he stomps forward, he keeps stomping, but he's so excited, so they roll a 1 and we can decide who is stomped on, and he stomps on some Savage Orcs, and it doesn't do much. Scatters off again, and then he goes away. So this is what it looks like over here after their turn, and over here this is what it looks like. And after combat in their turn 4, it looks like this. So now a lot more damage was done. We lost I think it was 6 of the Sisters of Slaughter this time, and they lost I think it was 10 of the Savage Orcs. And he's just been refusing challenges with his general all the time because he does not want Hellbrand to chew him up. So that is very clever. But here you see the casualties. They are still stubborn, so they still stay in the game. And then it is Beastman and Dark Elf turn 4. Here you see a Pit of Shades that actually got through finally, but unfortunately it scattered and it it didn't hit the Ragnarok, so too bad. And except for that, it just hit scattered and hit 4 Black Orcs, so didn't make much of a difference. But despite it not doing anything, it was still an irresistible force, so his level 4 gets sucked into the warp, and the entire unit, except for 2 Dread Spears and the BSB, is annihilated by the Strength 10 big template. Ouch. That was not good. Not good. So, here you see it, going into close combat. I charged my Doombull at the Goblins down there and the Minotaurs at the 2 um, spear chuggers, because I was realizing that by the time I had turned around, his Savage Hawks, I think they would have been too far away, or I was just getting too afraid to charge the Savage Hawks anyway, because I had so few wounds left in the Minotaurs comparatively compared to what I would be fighting. And I was just like, no, I'll just take the save points and not throw away this unit against something that'll chew it up. I mean, yeah, I have the Doom Bull, but he can't do it on his own against 4 ranks of super infantry. He would eventually break, lose combat, lose frenzy, break, get run down for no reason without them doing anything. Maybe killing 10 or 15 orcs, but not worth it. So I took the gun line instead. And over here I had moved my level 2 into the big bunker, and then I moved this 10-man unit up to chaff up the Black Orcs, to hopefully make them fail a charge there in the next turn. Now, you may have been wondering what the heck I have been doing with my Gore Horde all this time. And the thing is, I didn't have Shadow Magic, and it was kind of designed for that. But one of the final days before this battle, I was like, you know what? I have played Warriors a lot, and I always take Shadow Magic, and it's really good. It's really efficient, but I'm just tired of it. You know, I wouldn't have enjoyed running it. So I went for the Beast Magic and hoped that I could get off 2 Wisens on them or something like that, and still make them viable in combat. But when the game started, we realized that you know, I'm playing with Dark Elves, so our alliance, turn 1, you know, both players roll a dice, and on a 1 to 3 your alliance get 1 step worse, and after 2 steps it's the worst, and you can't even split up the power dice as you want. You have to share them out equally, and then you roll for channels and stuff like that. So that meant we couldn't use our magic efficiently, and also our opponents were channeling like 3 dice each turn, you know, 4 ups and then a 3 up, and they had like 4 or 5 mages up there. So yeah, I got 3 power dice each turn from the Hearthstone, and sometimes we channeled 1 more, but we had to split the dice up to one of us, to both of us equally. So I would usually have like 6 or 7 dice at maximum, and we weren't even that lucky most of the time. And then he would have had to get some dice, and he had lost his level 4, so there wasn't much for him to use them, but we had to do it because of the alliance rules. So yeah, we couldn't do anything with magic. I mean, whoa, it was bad. Sometimes we had an average phase, as you saw, where we got off the Pit of Shades that cost us his level 4 and did nothing. But in general, we were just like, okay, whoa, this is not gonna happen. So instead of just moving them up and having them die right away, I was keeping them back and saving them for later, maybe doing some emergency chaffing, or maybe if something got depleted enough, I would run them into it, or, you know, opportune flank charge, whatever. But I couldn't do what I had intended to do with this unit. But I didn't want to just, you know, I wanted a fun list as well, and well, it wasn't that fun to play with because it was so messed up, and they had also focused on magic and did it better than us because of the way their army works. But so that is why my Gore Horde is just standing still and being useless up to now. Just wanted to mention that. So, Orc and Goblin turn 5. Yeah, that's my big dice. It's turn 5, yes. So, the Black Orcs charge my Gores, and at this time we had realized that if they charged them, they would have an even easier overrun into the side of the Sisters of Slaughter. So instead, we choose to flee, because the flee move, if they failed, somehow miraculously failed their redirect test, leadership test, they would have to pursue away from the pursue so they didn't hit the sisters. And also, otherwise it would just be, even if they made the leadership to redirect, which was most likely, obviously, then they would still have to make a charge that would be harder than it was to make that charge and then overrun. So all in all, it was a slightly better option, so we did that. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. So they still made the charge, and now they're in our super unit's flank. So yeah, ouch. There you see it. That's gonna be interesting. I mean, those sisters are really tough, and a 4 ward can just save the day for anyone. You can have strength at Basilian and stuff like that, but if you roll enough 4-ups, and that's very random, then it can still work out. And you see the Savage Orc horde is now completely depleted. There's only the BSB and the Savage Orc warboss left. So now there's no unit to hide behind. But it's they're still there, and it's one turn too late for that. So now we can't reform, and it's still a bad situation. And the Savage Orcs over here charge my 3 Encore to clear them out of the way. And over here, yeah, I obviously moved the Razor Gore over here during the game, and now he's a Ragnarok who had a clear path for charging after the Black Orcs charges that one. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's pretty bad for me, but well, at least it's presenting a flank to my useless bunker unit. Oh well. And here you see the board. So this is what it has come to. And yeah, I kind of do regret not just reforming the Minotaurs and then charging the flank of the Savage Orcs. But then again, if I had done that, then I would have like 2 Goblin Spear Chuggers shooting in the flank of my Minotaur unit, and 2 more shooting in the back. And now no one could shoot them. So I don't know how many I would have had to charge the flank, but at least it would have been something. It could have been something. Now it's just they're not gonna do anything, the Minotaurs. So it's too bad. But yeah, this is the board. And this is a Stone Thrower scattering and hitting my bunker unit, killing 4. We forgot to move the 4th one, so we'll do that later. And that charge, quite interesting that 3 Encores actually killed 2 Savage Orcs with a Fire Ward, but they did. So just a little funny moment. That's not gonna change much, but oh well. And over here, the Ragnarok only puts 1 wound on the Razor Gore, and the Razor Gore actually does 1 wound to the Shaman on top of it. So, well, not bad actually. But now it's facing my bunker. And over here, big Soul Slaughter, suits the name, Sisters of Slaughter. You see, they have lost a lot. The sisters now, they lost 6 or 7 more girls to that battle. The Orc General, Savage Orc General is finally dead, but it's 1 turn too late. And yeah, a bunch of Savage Orcs, Black Orcs died. That +1 to hit and +1 to wound is so great on that unit, because they already have all the strikes first, so they're just insane. They're really insane. Absolutely nuts. Oh well, so that's happening over here, and they are sticking. They're sticking it out, those sisters. That is great. They're no more frenzied. 2 attacks per model now, but still, whoa. Can't believe that they stood up to all that punishment. So we go to our turn 5. Beastman and Dark Elf turn 5. The fleeing bunker for the level 2 mage rallied, so they're there. And my Razor Gore rallied, so that was nice. Leadership 6 can be used to something, sometimes. And the Dark Elf BSB, he was in with the 2 spearmen here at the bottom before. He charges Grincor's unit. And the reasoning was, he has a 2-up armor, he has a 4 ward save, and well, he's a BSB, so that's a banner. and it will be a charge. So he has a fair chance at surviving, but we just challenge out Grimcore. So with a 4 ward, no striking, no rerolling for anyone, that would actually be a pretty good chance of surviving at least one round. So, and that would be worth it to not have this gigantically expensive unit fleeing and being overrun. So that happened. And over here, some dark shots shot at some spear chuggers and did nothing. And I made the mistake of the game. Because, you know, it was looking bad. And also, I kind of wanted to have fun too, and not just be all tactical and points, who's gonna win in points. So the smart thing to do now is this, but it's not fun at all. So, and I also felt that I had been doing that enough already with the chaffing up. So, you know what? Forgetting that I would come out of range of the Hearthstone, and forgetting that we still had to split up our power dice, I said, you know what? I'm gonna take the chance. I'm gonna charge this Ragnarok, and then I'll boost the crap out of my unit if we get a good magic phase. So in my head, this was a gamble, but it was not a overly insane gamble. It was a big gamble, but it wasn't. It had potential in my head. Because if I could get them to +1 strength and toughness, or even +2, I have 2 mages in there from the Law of Beasts, that would be pretty big. However, as I mentioned already, I would be out of range for the Hearthstone, and we do have to split up our dice, so it was just a disaster. And yeah, you know, Steadfast saves the day, and I did kill the Goblin Shaman on top, so it's not, you know, all bad, but you know, this unit is screwed. And I didn't even consider the Savage Orc Horde back there being free of chaff now. You know, it's just bad. Yeah, so that happened, and stuff died, and wow, that's like 900 points in that bunker, everything included. So bad. Oh well. Over here, despite everything, despite the BSB charging in, the Black Orc still won, and the Sisters fled. However, the Dark Elf BSB held with the reroll, so that was quite interesting. And the Sisters are still alive, and Hellbron is still alive. So, well, could have been worse, and was definitely worth it charging that guy in. Here he is in a very blurry picture. I'm sorry about that, but my phone and bad lighting, you know, too bad. Here it is. And whoa, what a champ. What a champ. So, Orcs and Goblins turn 6. Final turn of the game. So, there it is, what I didn't see coming. I just hadn't seen the Savage Orcs, and yeah, too bad. But you know what? I would have lost them anyway to this Ragnarok, so screw that. And the Goblin Archers charged the flank, just, you know, for the fun of it. And over here, he is chaffing up my Doom Bull, who had finally moved into position to charge a Savage Orc in the rear. I was just gonna say screw it, but unfortunately he saw that, and they moved one of their shamans in front of him. And some shooting kills 2 of the Gores. So that's that unit still gone. And some other shooting actually kills a Bow Thrower. They only have 2 wounds, so you know, if he rolled that 5 or 6 to wound, and after he also hit, well, it went down. Too bad. And there it is. Around 900 points, you know, give or take 100, gone, because I hadn't thought it through. You know, I pretty much figured we had lost at this point anyway, but, you know, it wasn't my intention to just throw it away. It was my intention to take a gamble, a calculated risk. I like to do that, but I had calculated horribly wrong, so it was nothing of the sort. It was just stupid. And it's gone, and it's just bad. At least the Savage Orcs had to pursue, and they were the biggest number, so I had to flee away from them, but no consolation. Not really. And here we see the toughest BSB in the world. He is in a challenge with Grimcore for the 3rd round of combat, and no, second round of combat, and he's just holding like a boss. I mean, who needs to be a battle standard bearer? Who cares if there are 4 ranks of black orcs and the best, strongest orc ever to have lived? I'll just roll a double to hold, and take no wounds from him, because I like to roll ward saves like a boss. Oh man, it's oh, he is so cool. That guy there. I mean, that guy right there. Whoa, whoa. Okay, so this is what it looks like, the board, and the Sisters of Slaughter rallied. So really nice. I mean, they can't charge now. This is our turn, but really nice, really nice. And just for the fun of it, you know, it's the last turn of the game, and I feel like we have nothing to lose now. And you know, close combat is fun. So I'm like, what the heck? And I charge these scores in there, knowing that it's not gonna go well, but at least I'll be steadfast on leadership 7. So I do that, and over here some shooting. I think it actually takes down a. Yeah, I took down a spear chugger. Ooh. And the Doom Bull charged and killed the Goblin Shaman. And you know, again, I'm just like, screw it. Charges are fun, and close combat are foreign. So the 10-man bunker, now reduced to 7 after a stand and shoot, charges the goblins. And I know they're steadfast, I'm not. I only have 1 attack because I didn't pay for the extra hand weapon for bunkers, but screw it. And here we go again. The worst pictures of the report, but you have to see this. 3rd round in a challenge with Grimcore, a normal Dark Elf Master BSB. No wounds at all on him. Unscathed holds against, you know, +3 ranks and everything. Wow. Just wow. So, this is it. This is what we have to do in the final player turn of the game. And, I didn't take any pictures after this, but, my Gores went into the goblins. They lost a few but held, and my Gore Horde, or bus now, charged the Savage Orcs there. They I don't know if they killed one. It didn't matter because I lost a lot. And after he had made the attacks, but before we moved on to anything else, he forgot that he had forgotten. He got the reroll spell off on the Black Savage Orcs there. So they rerolled to hit, and he forgot to reroll with his BSB, who's down there with a wound on him, it seems. He is. Yeah. So he rerolled those because we were still in the same combat, so we weren't too far behind. And he killed 2 more, and which meant I lost by enough, and they actually fled and were overrun. Now in the game, we were just like, oh well, it's too late. But you know what? After the game, I don't think I actually told him. Or told them. But anyway, I got to the conclusion, I think it was just me, that you know what? It was the same combat. We hadn't even finished that combat. And this is not a tournament at all. So, you know, not letting him have those rerolls when it was the same combat we were in would be, I mean, it would just be too cheap of me and too, you know, make me too small a person, if you know what I mean. So, in my mind, he killed that unit because it was the same combat. We hadn't moved on to anything else. So those rerolls, and we rolled all the dice for it right there just for the fun of it. And he even caught them. We rolled the flee and pursuit moves. So he caught that unit too. And that was it. Everything is as it is here, except that my Gore bus is dead, and the Savage Orcs are some like 10 inches further down the table towards our side. And that was the battle. And it was, wow, so cool. I mean, I didn't really like my army. It was badly put together. I should have taken Shadow or taken another army build. So I should have thought about that, but it was my own decision, and I learned something. And it's just, you know, standing there all day throwing dice with my friends, just seeing these big battles, seeing how the Sisters of Slaughter just murdered everything in front of them. And only failed, fled in the end because of a flank charge by Grimgor's Black Orcs, you know. And then the BSB holding, just, oh man. Seeing that Orcish gun line in the best Orc style ever, doing more wounds to itself than it did to us. I mean, all those misfires and those oh, Doomdiver and the Rocklobber destroyed, and some of the spear chuggers even killed themselves and misfired and couldn't shoot, and I mean they cost themselves more points than they cost us. Oh, whoa, that's funny. Just the way it's supposed to be, kinda, I guess. No, they rolled a little poorly. They were below average on luck. So and yeah, when we counted the points, and we count points per model killed, because that shows what you actually did in the game and how much you actually killed, instead of that strange rule of, you know, not counting unless you kill that entire unit, even if there's just one guy left out of 40. Makes no sense. So we do that, and after every point was counted and every bonus from General and BSB and banners were counted, they won. The Organ Goblins won by 400 points. Now, 400 points. You remember what my bunker cost, right? It cost 900 points. And that Gore Horde, well, of course, I would never have charged that if we still had my bunker. And if I had still had it, it would have been steadfast on a Leadership 9 rerollable. So, if I had remembered that I would be out of range from the Hearthstone, I would probably still have made the charge if knowing that if I had remembered that we would have to split the dice. But if I had remembered, I'd be more than 6 inches away from the Hearthstone. I would not have charged. Then I would have fled the Arachnox charge in there turn 6. And I don't think I was too far away from the board. It was impossible for me to flee on one turn. I had a Musician and I had Leadership 9, because a magic banner still works if you're fleeing. It's just the reroll you can't use. So if I hadn't charged, I would have fled. Then if I could have made a Leadership 10 roll, that bunker would still have been there, and we would have been up 900 points more than we were. So we would have won by 500 points. And then also the Gore boss either wouldn't have charged, or if it had, it would probably have held with Leadership 9 rerollable. And even if it had been killed, we would still have been up by 150 points, approximately. So, I mean, not thinking that through just cost us the victory. Oh man, it's, you know, we played for fun, and my list wasn't optimal at all, either way, so I'm not too torn apart by it. It's okay, and we still have fun. And it's just, oh man, dang it! If I had just remembered that, we would have won. Despite my suboptimal list, despite me either, you know, being unlucky with the Minotaurs and not taking the chance and trying to do with them what I wanted, and despite me not having Shadow Magic, and despite us having the disadvantage with Magic, we would have won if I had remembered that, if we had made a Leadership 10 roll. So we would most likely have won. But we didn't, and I screwed up, and I didn't think it through, and you know what? That does not make the victory any more respectable for my opponents. They played against 2 generals. Those 2 generals made their decisions. They made their calls, they took their chances, and in the end, they won the game. I mean, they won against those 2 generals they played against. So that's taking, in my mind, it's taking nothing away from their victory. It's just, you know, teaching me a lesson that I can use the next time I play. And wow, what a game. It's a very long one, and you know, I hope you enjoyed it if you're still watching, and I know we did, and I'm just encouraging you to try one of these big games if you have a day. Just take the day and play a big game just for the fun of it, because, you know, at this point level, you can just have all the stuff you don't usually can. I mean, it's like, yeah, I always wanted to do this. You can do it. You can do it. It's like 5,000 points. I mean, you know, if you play with someone as an ally, you just have to agree who takes what, And if you just play by yourself, you can take everything you ever wanted. I mean, for my Warriors of Chaos, taking a horde of chosen is so cool, but it's so expensive. But I have done it once when we played another 5,000 point game, because we could. It's so fun, and there's so much going on that I mean, you can lose big, you can win big, it can be a draw. You'll have had fun no matter what if you just go into it with the right attitude, and try it out, guys. So cool. I hope you enjoyed it. That was the battle. We certainly did enjoy it a lot, and we all had a lot of fun. So, yeah, just keep up playing, keep up having fun. And remember why you play, that you and your opponent have fun. It's not about winning or losing, it's about playing a battle, see what happens, doing your best. So, yeah. All of you just keep gaming, have a good time.